Hello and welcome to the Score Attack GOTY cast, or Games of the Year cast, where we talk about interesting games from this year. And this is installment 103, where we talk about games that came out this year, that we played, and that we enjoyed, and we felt the need to talk about. And we, as in me, Drug aka Soviet Bear, and GD aka Geisha Deconstruct.
Hey!
So, it took us a while to compile this list because there were so many damn games.
Well, it took us 10 minutes?
This year. I don't think I've ever played this many games in a given year.
We played a hell of a lot of games this year.
Yeah, I think that the streaming thing helped because a lot of these we played on stream. It kind of pushes you to try new things.
Not only that, I think this is the one, and this is the first year in a long time that my Steam pile of shame is actually not ridiculous.
Hey, I have a positive ratio there. I think I have played around 68% of my library.
Yeah, I've played more games than I've acquired this year, so that's a win. So, cool. Games we played this year that came out this year.
Yeah, we're gonna start with a game only I played and you heard about, since it's PlayStation 4 only and you don't do...
I don't do consoles.
Sony consoles.
I don't do consoles.
Yeah. It's Bloodborne. The game everybody declared Game of the Year as soon as it released back in, what was it, March or something.
I would play the hell out of Bloodborne if there was a PC port.
Man, you would love Bloodborne.
I know I would.
Bloodborne... So it's basically, for those two people who don't know it, it's basically another Dark Soulsy game, except they ditched the Souls name from it, then just made its own spin-off, but it's essentially Dark Souls without shields. And reason one why you'd like it, GD, is because it's super mega gothic architecture porn.
Oh, awesome. And I do like gothic architecture porn.
Yeah, and that's the first half of the game, and the second half of the game is essentially a love letter to Lovecraftian mythology.
And that ticks the other box of shit I like in the game.
And the best part is nobody actually knew that because they didn't really market it, but the game kind of eases you into it very nicely. I mean, it doesn't do it like, oh, big twist, it's actually Lovecraftian monsters. It just starts with things being slowly more and more off until the kind of shit hits the fan and you realize what's actually going on.
Yeah, I can't. I'm just not a console person, but I swear if there was a PC port, I would play the hell out of Bloodborne.
We can play Dark Souls 3 when it releases. It's the same, maybe less Cthulhu and more demons, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a good game. I kind of after my ordeal with playing Dark Souls 1 for the channel, I had a much easier time with Bloodborne because I just learned how the game tends to be a dick to you. So I just went with a different mindset into it, and yeah, the combat was really good, and the atmosphere and the way the actual just storytelling worked is good because it doesn't do those, hey, here's a cutscene and here's an explanation of everything that happens. It's more like Half-Life games where you just stumble upon shit and kind of figure it out on the way.
Okay.
But a different PS4 game that you didn't play, but you kind of played because we let a stream play.
It.
Yeah, we streamed the entire thing. That's our new thing now. If one person streams it, then we both played it.
Yes.
It was Until Dawn.
Man, I really enjoyed that game.
Until Dawn was a really big gamble for me because the only reason I bought Until Dawn, I pre-ordered it. The only reason I pre-ordered it was because I had nothing on my PS4 to play at that time, and I just felt buyer's remorse for owning a PS4. I own it for a reason. I should probably turn it on. And I pre-ordered that game and figured, okay, it's probably gonna be shit. But I'm gonna look at it as trash horror level shit, and when you pay for a trashy horror movie, you kind of don't feel bad because that's what they're supposed to be. You know what
you're gonna get. But no, Until Dawn kind of... I went into it not knowing a lot about it. I deliberately went into it not knowing a lot about it, and I had a really good time with it.
Yeah, I think it gave all those other cinematic games a real run for their money. I mean,
Definitely.
The person who promotes those the most, and the people compared it most to like Heavy Rain, and Fahrenheit from Quantic Dream, aka the studio that David K. Jones. But this just knocked it out of the park, and
Definitely.
kind of the interesting thing I feel they did was they give you a lot of small choices that make no difference, but give you immediate feedback. Like when we finished the stream, I kind of tried and forced failed everything to see what the earliest moment anyone can die was. And surprisingly enough, it takes a very long time before someone can die. Like you actually go through the entire game until everybody dies.
What I liked about it though is like it gives you feedback on things that are significant choices, but it also almost gives you false feedback on choices that aren't relevant. And then there's choices that seem significant that it gives no feedback on, and there's choices that aren't significant and gives no feedback on. So a lot of the time you never really are sure if what you're doing matters or not, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think their goal was to keep the moment-to-moment immersion, because a lot of people complained when they finished the game and they realized that a lot of the choices were quote-unquote false choices.
But
a lot of people complained about that. I don't think it matters because I think if they maintain the illusion while you're playing, it's fine. Because, for example, like the closest to that are Telltale games like The Walking Dead, and The Wolf Among Us and similar. And Telltale games tend to, because of their episodic format, they kind of tend to collapse while you're playing them. So, for example, you have a choice. Oh, do I save person A or person B? And you know that moment. Okay, I'm gonna save person A, but that means that person B is only gonna be alive for another episode, and that's what happens because it can't branch it out too far. And the whole thing that like the illusion kind of shatters while you're playing, whereas with Until Dawn, it only shatters when somebody actually tells you, or you test it after a playthrough and see, oh, that actually didn't matter at all, which I think is fine. I mean, like if it entertains me while I'm playing, I think that's a good deal.
Yeah. Definitely. And I mean, you could sit and complain about it, but ultimately it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. It at the time, that choice didn't mean anything, but so what? At the time, at that moment, it could have done. And if you're having that kind of a reaction afterwards, that kind of, I feel so tricked, forget that and just take about the fact that, at that moment in time when you were making that choice, it potentially could have mattered, then that's the important bit.
I mean, that's
good narrative, that's good storytelling.
I mean, even like generally game design, a lot of it is smoke and mirrors, and of course when somebody tells you how something actually works, it seems less impressive. Like when you know how something in the back end of the game is calculated,
or even just when you know how a magic trick works.
Yeah, like a lot of games that have like a lot of really like detail, like Mass Effect games that have a million little things. If you look at the chart of how the dialogue trees actually go, it's super simple. And I think Until Dawn just manages to maintain the illusion, and that's enough. Their biggest problem is if they make an Until Dawn 2, people already know how their tricks work, so they're gonna have to think of something else.
Yeah, they're gonna have to rethink things if they make another. But
yeah,
I can see. I think they would manage if they did.
And here we are. I just realized we were talking about Until Dawn for so long. I didn't actually mention what it was. I mean, it's essentially Heavy Rain, with a bunch of teenagers in a horror movie setting, a la Cabin in the Woods.
It's pretty good. It's
really good. If you get a PS4, I definitely recommend you get that.
Yeah, definitely.
Another PS4 game which you can now enjoy on PC, thankfully, is Helldivers.
I fucking love that game.
I bought Helldivers twice at full price, and I don't fucking regret it.
It's so much fun. So those of
Okay,
you,
so
for those of
you
you
can
that,
explain it.
for those of you who don't know what Helldivers is, same studios that did Magicka, that did Gauntlet. It's the same kind of idea, up to 4-player co-op with friendly fire. But in space. It's a very sort of Starship Troopers type setting.
Yeah, I think Starship Troopers is the most common comparison, especially because
especially with like a lot
enemies...
of the and the kind of propaganda style videos, and it's very Starship Troopers.
Yeah, it's just like you're battling for Super Earth, and you're spreading democracy through space, and you're fighting against bugs that are an evil force of nature, but you're actually fighting them for oil. Then you have cyborg renegades who actually are trying to escape Super Earth, so you're hunting them down and trying to indoctrinate them again. And then you have aliens because you want their tech.
Exactly.
But it's all for democracy.
So good. It is so much fun.
Yeah, and how the gameplay works is just like it's a twin stick shooter, and you go with 4 people, but basically 90% of your features will kill you. Like even calling in, if you call in an airstrike, obviously if you stand under it, you're gonna die.
But if you call in a resupply, it will kill you. If you resummon your dead teammate, it can kill you. Your extraction jet can kill you. It's great.
Yeah, because when you ask for anything to be deployed from
it gets deployed from orbit.
Yeah, and it can land on you.
Oh, it's great.
You can set up a turret, and the turret can actually shoot you. And there are so many different things that can go wrong. But it's one of those games, like, Magicka... Here's one thing in Magicka. Like, Magicka was like, oh, you will probably kill your friends.
Friendly
but
fire!
But if you're careful, you're not gonna kill your friends. Unless you're doing it on purpose because you're a twat, and because Magicka doesn't really penalize you as much. Like, you can just like, oh, I'm gonna kill you and then res you right away, I don't give a shit. Here, it's more like you play on the easiest difficulty and you don't really care, oh, I'm just gonna shoot you because
I'm gonna bayonet my friends because I can.
Yeah, but then when you play harder difficulties... Then when you play harder difficulties, you realize you get... there's less of a chance of you succeeding without other people, and you get less XP if less people make it, and it's generally so hard that if like having 3 or 4 people makes an absolute difference. So all of a sudden it turns from, oh, it's funny that your friends are getting killed, to, oh shit, please don't die on me.
And the thing about it as well is it actively it doesn't even actively encourages teamwork. But it encourages so much teamwork and coordination without forcing it down your throat. I think I described it as like a gentlemanly agreement. It's like more of a gentlemanly agreement not to friendly fire each other. Because it's, you're not going to achieve anything. It's fun, but you're not going to achieve anything by it. You get better rewards if you work together. You're more likely to succeed, especially at the higher difficulties if you work together. But the game never turns round to you and says, no, you have to cooperate. And I like that.
The good thing about it is it'll never be like in other co-op games where someone is dying and you have to run and revive them right away. Here it's more like, because of the way friendly fire works, there's going to be a situation where all bugs gang up on one person in the corner, and you're on the other side of the corner and kind of free, and then you just realize... Nope, dude, I'm actually just gonna run away, let you be killed, and then respawn you, because technically that's the best solution at this moment.
And it leads... the other thing that I've kind of noticed with it is it does lead to a lot of... when you've got 4 people playing it together who are all on some kind of whip together, like, the coordination that you fall into being coordinated and, like, assuming roles really naturally, even without kind of sitting down and making a plan. Like, we sort of found very quickly that it just made everything a lot smoother if, like, if the same person always took point in their mech, the same person was responsible for rocket launchers and so on. And it does all of this without the game telling you it's a good idea, and I think that is really good game design, when, like, it kind of, like, it's not forced down your throat, but you're kind of naturally drawn towards doing that. And it's good. And it's good fun. And you can still bayonet people while they're reloading.
Yeah, I'd call it a nice. I actually call it a proper sequel to Magica because it improves on a lot of things.
It's really good.
There.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's on Steam. Get it.
Yeah, and speaking of things exploding and killing your friends,
And getting mad at your friends.
with getting mad at your friends, yeah. One of the quirkier game releases this year was Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes,
God,
which is a
I
fantastic
love this game too. This is the sort of game that I love. Anything that allows me to yell instructions.
This game is like the idea is so simple that you're kind of surprised that nobody thought about it in the past 10 years. But how the game works is one person has the actual video game, like, and stares at a screen, and they have a bomb that they have to defuse, and the bomb is made. It's like a suitcase with several modules stuck into it, and every module is a different type of. It's a different type of puzzle. Like you have wires, you have Morse code puzzles, you have decoder things and whatnot, and the only thing you can do is just stare at it and press and cut stuff and rotate it. The other person who's playing with you, or the other people playing with you, they are not allowed to look at the game screen. Instead,
which is why it's a great stream game.
Yeah, they are looking at a bomb manual that you can find online and print out, or look in PDF version. And the person disarming the bomb has to describe what they're seeing, and then based on what they're seeing, the people have to figure out what the solution is.
It is genius.
And all the modules, they don't have fixed solutions. It's a lot of like, okay, what color is the first wire? Okay, if
it's
the
a lot
first
of
wire
if this, then that.
Yeah, if this, then that. And the bomb defusal manuals are super fucking obtuse.
They are, like, some of them are so... There's one, and there's one module, and the diagram in the manual is pretty much the Venn diagram from hell.
Yeah, and another great thing is, kind of like how we mentioned in Helldivers, that people naturally assume some roles and figure out a way to work. Another like thing with this game, we keep talking, nobody explodes, is that people figure out their own names for things, because the game doesn't actually tell you what's what. So the game doesn't tell you, oh, this is a wire type 2. No, it's actually vertical wires, horizontal wires, or shitty convoluted wires. Yeah, and you just or
shitty convoluted wires. Damn the shitty convoluted wires.
or like when you have to enter certain symbols for certain puzzles, they are very. It's like the funny thing is, like, they use some letters that exist in like Cyrillic and Serbian, so I know what the proper name is.
And they use like some Greek ones and zodiac symbols and things like that. But because not everybody might necessarily know what you mean, you just make up your own terms for them.
Yeah,
so like backwards K.
Like backwards A, or I think one of my favorite ones was O with a hairdo.
O with a hairdo was great, yeah.
That was probably my favorite one. But it's super great. It's super tense. And it's one...
Play it, it's drink while playing it, yell at each other a lot. It's hilariously good fun.
If you've ever wanted to reenact the like typical action movie scene where one person who doesn't know how to disarm a bomb is disarming it, and they're yelling via comm with another person,
then Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes is the game for you. Yeah,
that's like perfect. You should just like, yeah, it's perfect. And even if you're not like too into games,
simulator.
Yeah, and it's what's great is, like, even if you're not too into games, it's very easy to just like explain to a person the basics and they'll get into it right away. It's like, even if you just like board games and not video games, they'll get into it, they'll understand it.
Yeah, definitely. It's good fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
Another game that's super simple to understand that we enjoyed was Quiplash.
Yeah.
Which is also another stream-friendly game. It's actually
designed with streaming in mind.
Yeah, it's designed for streaming in mind. So essentially what Quiplash is, it's from the You Don't Know Jack people. The guys who made those very silly trivia games. And how Quiplash works is like it's a party game. You can play it. Up to 8 people can play it, I think, and you can play via phone or internet browser. It's also one of those things where only one person has to own the game, and everybody else just logs into it with a web browser, essentially. And you get prompts, like very silly prompts, like I don't know. Do you remember any?
I don't.
Okay, like you get silly prompts like another name for the Empire State Building was blank, and then you have to put in an answer that sounds funny enough so all the other people who didn't put in a prompt
We'll vote for,
for that question can vote for it. So like each question gets 2 people that need to answer to it, and then everybody votes. When they get both prompts, they vote for it anonymously without knowing who's who, and then the stream part comes in where the audience can also vote.
Yeah.
And
it's
all
a
those
really
votes are combined.
it's a really simple premise, but it's a lot of fun if you just want to kill some time, or if you've got if you have a party or whatever.
It's what I like to call games where you have an excuse to be a horrible person, essentially.
There are some answers that always win.
I personally don't like Cards Against Humanity, but it's kind of like that in the sense that people kind of let
Horrible
loose, and then
win.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
Or what the running theme is. I think like with the stream we did with Chronic Soul and Laws, I think the running theme there was
Donald Trump. Because
Yeah.
let's face it, he's a big fucking joke.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But you know what's not a big fucking joke?
What is not a big
Snake
fucking joke?
Bird.
That game is no joke. Why do more people not know about Snakebird?
Because they fucked up the marketing, sadly. But for those who don't know, Snakebird, and I am so sorry that I have to say this, but Snakebird is the Dark Souls of puzzle games.
It is the cutest, most beautifully designed puzzle game, and it is also the most fucking difficult puzzle game. Like, I am someone that plays a lot of puzzle games, and Snakebird is brutal. And you don't say that about puzzle games very often, but Snakebird is brutal.
Yeah, so Snakebird is essentially you have a
You have a Snakebird.
You have Snakebird, and your goal is to get the Snakebird to eat the fruit.
And then escape through the rainbow portal.
The physics, and then they go into the portal. And the physics in the game works so that as long as Snakebird is made out of square sections, like it's all on a grid, and you move on a grid. And Snakebird, as long as one part of Snakebird, like one square, is on the ground, he won't fall. So as long as there's some support, he can bend however the hell he wants. And then you have multiple Snakebirds, and you have to get them all to the goal. And it's super hard. Like, the puzzles are I'm surprised at how consistently difficult and good the puzzle design and all the levels I've played have been.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played it for a while now, because we've played a lot of games this year. But it's just you've got 1 or 2 simple ones at the start that kind of ease you into it, and then all of a sudden it becomes hard as nails, and it's consistently difficult, and it's
if you're mediocre at puzzle games,
you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, you're just gonna get stuck. You're just gonna get stuck on one level for 3 hours. If you're not good at puzzle games,
I've been stuck on levels for days. I've had to go away and think about it and come back. It's just it's really difficult, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and it's not it's not that just being difficult that's the thing. It's actually very nicely and cutely presented. The art style is
just so dang cute, and it's just it's so clean and it's so pretty.
Yeah, and you can poke and interact with anything on the screen.
Yeah,
and
so there's like little flowers, and you poke them, and they make a little squeak, and they flutter, and it's adorable.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're gonna stare at the same level and get frustrated for hours, you might as well look at something cute.
But, yeah, and you will stare at the same level and get frustrated for hours. And, like, some of the solutions as well, it's like, Jesus Christ, that was, like, really, really convoluted. Like, it's... I mean, and you spend ages thinking, this isn't even solvable. There's no way this is solvable. No way. But, I mean, everything is solvable. It's just really bloody difficult.
Yeah, I think Bird would have been my actual game of the year were it not for something else, which we'll mention later.
Yeah, it would have been my game of the year if there hadn't been other games out this year.
Well, isn't that true for every game ever? Oh, yeah.
Oh, like, but it's so good. I love Snakebird. Snakebird will always, always, always have a place in my heart.
Yeah. But like at the other end of the spectrum, like something that I will try to forget as soon as possible is the beginner's guide.
Now, we've spoken about the beginner's guide already, because I think we both kind of played it, and I think immediately afterwards it was like, we need to talk about this. I kind of don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that, like, you can check out.
I think everybody should play it. But I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Actually, there's a game recommendation if you ever heard one.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna add a different recommendation. If you're a person who does something creatively, like whether as a hobby or professionally, in some kind of capacity, if you're a creator, the beginner's guide is something you should check out. If that's not something that interests you, it's not the game for you.
No, I think if you're a creator, be it content or games or writer or anything, if you are someone who does something creatively, I think you should check it out. If you are someone who enjoys interacting with other people's creations, I think you should check it out.
Okay, if you're kind of like a critic but a proper one, you can also check it. I don't know. We have a long convoluted video on it, but yeah, it's one of those games that's worth talking about. It's one of those games that I think scored all the scores on this possible spectrum from 1 to 10. So like people give it, like review sites gave it both a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 because nobody can agree upon it, which is great. More games should get that kind of reaction out of people.
So
anyway, moving on. Have you heard of a little indie game about a throne in a nuclear setting called Nuclear Throne?
You will never reach the nuclear throne.
You've never heard of it?
Of course I have. We streamed it.
Oh yeah. I kind of blocked that out because it kept dying a lot. So yeah, Nuclear Throne is a twin stick shooter, the second one this year that I enjoyed. It's a roguelite. I hate that term, but let's go with it because people know what that means. It's hard, you die fast, and a lot of stuff is random. You're basically going through a nuclear wasteland, you're playing cute little mutants, you're picking up big guns and shooting stuff with it, and hoping you get to the nuclear throne and sit on it and become the king of the wastes. That's the premise.
Before you die horribly. And you will die horribly. A lot.
It's a game that you can, when you like learn how to beat it, you can beat it in 10 minutes on average. Like that's like 10 to 15 minutes is I guess like an average run. But until you're at that kind of point, you're probably gonna need around 50 hours of playtime.
Yeah.
Because it's just like brutally difficult. It's more I'd say it's more skill based than it is luck based, but that's just like a spectrum thing. Like if you keep getting bad guns and bad drops and bad enemy spawns, life is gonna be harder for you. But it's kind of like if you know how to play it, you're not gonna get too RNG screwed.
Speaking of getting RNG screwed,
yes. There's a game you've been playing.
I have played so much Darkest Dungeon.
It's called Darkest Dungeon. I've been waiting for you to say it, but I can say it. I can introduce
I have played so much Darkest Dungeon this year. Now, this is a game This is like RNG's Dick the video game. Basic premise is it's a dungeon crawler with permadeath and RNG from hell. And it's all about going mad and dying while trying to reclaim your land from the dark powers that have taken over it.
We actually did a first impressions video back in the day when it was still in early access. Like, I played a bit on it and just like went through it to figure out what it was like. I liked the presentation of it.
The art style is fantastic.
Yeah, and the atmosphere is fantastic, but I am one of those people, I like an element of randomness, but when a game goes too much into RNG, like, I don't know, XCOM, I just lose my shit.
Now, I mean, I never have much of an issue with RNG. Generally, I find that the RNG gods smile upon me. I fully admit, when it comes to RNG-based shit, I generally have pretty good luck. I admit that. But I've watched other... So my time with Darkest Dungeon has not been hellish. But I've watched other people play it, and it has been like... Everything that can go wrong will go wrong every time. It is RNG's Dick the video game.
My kind of luck ratio has been, if a game has an RNG component, like, I don't know, like MMOs have RNGs with drops. That kind of stuff I'm super good at. Like, I can buy a Kinder Surprise and I'm gonna get a super toy. Like, with that kind of stuff, I'm kind of lucky with drops and whatnot. But when a game is like RNG centric, like the main mechanic, like when RNG constantly keeps happening, I get constantly screwed by it. And when I play of Darkest Dungeon, I didn't get screwed over. I only played the starting levels, but I could already see, oh, this is gonna go in directions where I'm just gonna delete the game from my memory.
Yeah, I mean it's RNG's Dick the video game, and I really like it.
I like to be more in control of things, which is why I enjoyed Train Valley so much this year.
Man, I have played the hell out of Train Valley.
You like, I was the one that recommended the game. I played it on Casual Connect when it was like in Belgrade last year before it released, and I met the dev there. And when I saw the game presented and just tried it, it immediately clicked with me. And what Train Valley is we streamed that. I think there's a stream archive on the channel, but in case you missed that, you have several stations, and you have a railroad you build, and you have to manage trains, not like in an economical sense, but more like in a puzzle sense. You have to send trains down proper routes, which you've made on your own without direction, and make sure they don't crash, and make sure they reach the proper station before you lose your resources. So it's not a management game. It sounds like a tycoon management game, but it's actually
a puzzle game.
A puzzle game. It's a pure puzzle game with trains as a theme.
And it is like, when we streamed Train Valley, I didn't know anything about it, and I was like a little bit, I don't know why we're playing this, but okay. And I absolutely fell in love with it. It is just so utterly, utterly charming. And it gets difficult.
How the game kind of paces itself is, just like to illustrate the first level, you have, like, the first level is you have one train station, you have two train stations, and then you have to build a track from A to B. And then one train goes from one station to the other, and you're like, oh, this is straightforward. But then, a few minutes later, another train station spawns, and you have to connect that to your existing railroad. So like, oh, how do I fit this in? And then a second train comes out, and it needs to go to another station. And then two trains at the same time need to go to different stations, and you have to build a way around. And all of a sudden, you have 4 trains at a time trying to use your limited number of tracks.
And then it just builds up and builds up and builds up until you've got 8 stations and Japanese bullet trains, of which 6 spawned at the same time. It's like, holy shit, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, and you have to make sure that they don't crash, they don't enter the wrong station.
Some levels you can't even stop them. Like, you generally can stop them, but later levels you get achievements for not stopping any of them as well.
Yeah, you're rated based on... Yeah, you're rated based on completed objectives, and some objectives say things like, oh, make sure a train never stops, make sure a train never misses, its station...
Summon more trains!
Like yeah, summon more trains if you're feeling brave. But it has a very nice pacing, and
yeah,
it's one of
really
those... Good. It's one of those calm, hectic games. Like, it's kind of like Snakebird is cute and frustrating. Train Valley is like, oh, it's trains, it's cute, the music's nice, everything is so nice and fun and cutesy.
And then it builds up and builds up and gets faster and faster and crazier and crazier.
Yeah, and crazier and crazier, and you're like stopping or like pausing
at the same time, once the actual methodology clicks for you, you very quickly sort of find yourself in a position where actually you've got you sort of know how to build successful railways and how to manage it really well. And then all of a sudden, like, the game clicks and you've got 6 trains going around at once and you're not panicked about it. And I love that. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, I believe the game has a demo. Yeah, it has a free demo on Steam. It's a perfect indicator of whether you're gonna like it or not. I suggest you try it. Like, I know managing traffic sounds boring, and there are more exciting premises, but it actually works.
It does.
But if you're in a more excitement though, there's also being a cyberpunk mercenary in Hong Kong doing a shit. In Shadowrun Hong Kong, that is.
So, Shadowrun Hong Kong, it is... Obviously, it is set in the Shadowrun world. It's a self-contained story, so it's not a true sequel to Harebrained's previous Shadowrun games. Like, each one they've released has been a self-contained story, and has been a self-contained game. They're not released as expansion packs, with the exception of the Director's Cut one. So they are self-contained games, they are self-contained stories. Everyone has been Kickstarted and has been phenomenally successful in Kickstarter. And they've been one company that has done Kickstarter very well. And it's a game that I really, really anticipated and ended up having very mixed feelings about.
Yeah, it kind of worked less for you than it did for me.
So, the original one, Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Dragonfall, I absolutely loved those games last year and the year before. Played them to death. Played them 2 or 3 times through. Shadowrun Hong Kong, I didn't... Well, did I even finish it? I don't actually remember. And I can't necessarily see myself playing again.
I think one of the things I liked with Shadowrun Returns and Dragonfall is that they weren't too long. Like, they were 10 hours each. Hong Kong felt like it was twice as long.
I finished it in 10.
Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, it felt like it was much longer to me. I don't know, I have, like, mixed feelings about it because, like, each Shadowrun game had something else for me. Like, Shadowrun Returns, I really, really liked the story in it. And like Deadman's Trigger. I think Deadman's Trigger is a great story.
It is a fantastic story.
It has a great pacing, and the payoff at the end is fantastic.
And Dragonfall, again, it was a brilliant story. It really drew me in. And with all the Shadowrun games, the atmosphere and the characterization is fantastically done.
I think... Here's one of the mistakes I think happened with Hong Kong. Like, in Returns, it's like, oh, your old buddy contacts you, and you can kind of like figure out, oh, I had a buddy, was I good with him, was I not good with him? Because any story you kind of fit in, both of them work. Like, oh, I didn't like him, but he contacted me maybe just specifically because of that, or whatever. In Dragonfall, you're kind of the new guy, and you're trying to get the trust of your other team members because the way things unfold makes sense for that. Like, you're the newbie, nobody trusts you, and you're there on only the good of someone's word. And in Hong Kong, it kind of ups your character premise stakes a bit because it's about your foster father, and it kind of gives you one of the major party members as your step brother. I don't know what.
Your adopted brother.
Yeah, and it kind of puts up backstory stakes much higher, and I couldn't be brought to I wasn't convinced to care.
See, that's not what got me. I mean, the characterization was enough that I did care about Duncan. I mean, the characterization in Shadowrun games is brilliant. The atmosphere
I like the characterization.
Is brilliant.
I meant more, it's just kind of the premise kind of more or less expects you to be invested rather than spending much time investing.
No, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Although I think Dragonfall had one NPC I adored, and party member I adored, and all the other NPCs I was kind of okay with. Whereas whereas Hong Kong had my favorite NPCs in all Shadowrun games, and also my least favorite ones. It's got a mixed bag. I loved one of the optional party members you can get in Hong Kong. I'm not gonna spoil it, but you get him early on. But the Decker you have, and Shaman and Hong Kong, I was just no, I can't be arsed to care about you people.
My problem with Shadowrun Hong Kong was, we've gone through 2 previous games, Shadowrun Returns, Dead Man's Stretch, and Shadowrun Dragonfall, where the story is there and you're very much a key part of it, and it kind of unfolds with you as a major player. Now, what kind of killed Shadowrun Hong Kong for me is you get the start of the story, and then you're sent off to run the shadows, while someone else goes and does all the story-related shit for you, and then you come back and they tell you about it. And that's is true. What killed the game for me. You're right. It just killed the game for me. I sort of felt that it just I just kind of felt a little bit cheated. I kind of felt a little bit I wasn't it was I wanted to be involved in the story. I wanted to go and help. And instead I'm being sent off to play errand boy for the local gang leader while she employs other people to do all the things that I really want to go and do. And it pissed me off, and it killed the game for me.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. In the previous ones, you're kind of actively working towards getting shit done yourself, whereas here, you're kind of doing other stuff, and then
you're doing other people's busy work while they are off taking part in the story that really is your character's story, and it killed the game for me. It gets kind of a bit odd because... And it made me sad.
Aw. It's a bit odd because in the previous games you're this constant pushing force, you're the one getting the story done, you're the one getting shit done. Whereas in Hong Kong, you're just kind of the tipping point. I won't spoil the game, but it's kind of you're passive, like you said, and then some major stuff happens where all of a sudden, you haven't been doing anything, but here's this major decision you're gonna make.
Everything important kind of happened off camera while you were playing Messenger.
Yeah.
And that annoyed me.
But hopefully Shadowrun whatever next will be okay. Maybe they'll make Shadowrun Belgrade and Serbia. I think that would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be fucking cool. You should make that.
You hear that, Hairbrain? Shadowrun Belgrade. Let's get this shit done.
Yeah. Speaking of shit, I played Fallout 4 this year.
I did not, and I have no intention of playing it.
I'm not gonna call it shit. I that was speed. It's not shit. It's not particularly. Oh god. So here's a bit of a tangent. I'm really sorry, but I played Morrowind when it before Oblivion was released. I played Fallout 1, 2. And I played like Fallout 3, and I played Fallout New Vegas. So I played all the main Fallout games.
I played Fallout 3. I played half an hour of Fallout 3 and like half an hour of Fallout New Vegas, and I didn't really have a good time, so I really couldn't give a shit about Fallout 4.
Yeah. So I bought like Fallout 4 at half price. I didn't expect it to be good. But the problem is
It wasn't.
they're just kind of like, it's this behemoth like GTA where it doesn't matter what you say, it's earning a shit ton of money. It's like it went from a niche isometric RPG to this behemoth.
Like, seriously, I log into Steam and like half my friends list's playing it. What?
Yeah, and it's like a game that does like. Someone said that Bethesda games are good because, like, they're shallow oceans, as they call it. I don't like that term again. I need to stop using terms I don't like. But nothing is too detailed or too constricted. But there are a lot of different things you can do. So that's why they aren't as constricted. And a lot of different games kind of up the standard for what you can do in sandbox games. And I don't know, it's like, I played 75 hours of Fallout 4, but I'm the kind of person that's going to finish a game, look back at the entire thing,
And think, what was I doing with my life?
And more like, I actually didn't enjoy this. Like, it was a slow burner, so I had to play a lot of it, and like, I got to the ending, and the ending just ruined the entire thing for me. And this is the second time a Fallout game has done that, because when I played Fallout 3, I played it just as long, and I got to the ending, and the ending enraged me so much, it made me hate everything else I played. I'm not the journey is more important to the destination kind of guy.
I think we should maybe move on, because you're getting a bit angry.
I just wanted to say, like, I just wanted to mention Fallout because I played it and I spent hours on it and I didn't end up liking it.
I could have saved you so much money if you'd listened to me in the first place and not actually bothered to buy it.
Hey, look, I would never buy it full price, so it's fine. I don't regret the money spent. I don't regret anything. I'm glad I know it's shit. If that's like
anyway.
I'm glad I don't know I like it.
Yeah, moving on from this controversial opinion that everybody's going to tell us we know nothing over. We should talk about something else.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a good game. A game that gives you a lot of options. Like, will you kiss the blue pigeon or the white pigeon? Like, that's like a very important choice.
That is a really, really, really important choice.
So which pigeon did you kiss in How to Fool Boyfriend?
Oh, Oko-san all the way!
Oko-san is probably the best one.
Best pigeon.
How to Fool Boyfriend, like, again, I'm guessing people already know about this, but it's a visual novel where you date pigeons.
It's a pigeon dating sim.
It's a pigeon high school dating sim.
I was bought this as a gift. I would not buy it.
I bought it.
Yeah, I was bought this as a gift, and my initial reaction was, what the fuck is this furry bullshit? I'm not playing this shit. And then we decided we would stream it, and it was the most delightfully bonkers 2 hours. I'm still not entirely sure what happened, or why, but it was just so beautifully fucking mad.
No, this is perfect. I'm slowly eroding your hatred towards anime bullshit. Like,
you are killing my hatred of anime bullshit.
You had Long Live the Queen before that, and then I got you How to Fool Boyfriend.
You are killing my hatred of anime bullshit. But yeah, it was good fun. We kissed some pigeons. We
never actually kissed them.
No. We found the Pudding King. Oh my god, it's the most bonkers game. I don't even want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't played it. Just throw all your preconceptions out of the window, buy yourself some furry bullshit. It is just so beautifully bonkers.
Yeah, if you're ever racist towards pigeons, you should give this game a chance. It might change your opinion about pigeons.
It's so mad. It's so beautifully, beautifully mad.
Yeah, and we're almost over. I think we're at the last game that we want to talk about that everybody has talked about. I'm like, this is like the complete opposite of Fallout 4. It's like not a behemoth. It's like this little niche that exploded. That's called Undertale.
We couldn't do this without talking about Undertale.
You can do it.
Because this year everybody's talking. Right now, everybody's talking about Undertale.
People are like the game facts.
Some people are so mad about it as well.
The Game Facts poll just ended, and Undertale won best game of the year.
Mad about
or whatever that's worth on that, and people were super salty over it.
This was another game that we picked up not knowing very much about it, other than it's pretty much a one-man project, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a one-man project. Toby Fox, the author of it, hired another person to help him with some of the art, and there were a few guest designers for a boss fight and some such. But generally, it's one-man project, and it's a JRPG with all the bad parts of JRPGs removed. So no grinding. No shitty writing, no unnecessary fan service, and no 300 hours until you see the true ending crap. It's a game where you play a little kid who fell into the world of monsters, and you're trying to escape the world of monsters. And the monsters aren't actually like super scary monsters. They're kind of like people. They have their problems and their issues, and when you meet them in a random encounter, you can kill them, or you can try and figure out what's bothering them and try and help them solve those problems. And in which case, the game turns from a slashing quick time event game to a puzzle game with bullet hell avoid monster tiers sections.
Pretty much.
And you can date a skeleton.
Yeah, and then,
that's not a spoiler because it's in the official story description, so I can say that.
And that game broke my heart.
And you still haven't finished it, so there's more hearts to break.
And it's just, for a game that we picked up knowing nothing about, I think it was definitely one of the best things that we have played this year.
It's a game that has intimidated me to the point where... Like, I for a while questioned whether I should be making games because it was that well made. It just... it kind of does like all the... Have you ever played Chrono Trigger, maybe? No. There's this part at the start of Chrono Trigger where the game tricks you because you can interact with a lot of things. Like, you can eat someone's lunch. You can pick up a valuable item before analyzing a person who fell on the ground and stuff like that. And it's all run-of-the-mill stuff, and then that bites you back in the ass. You never expect it. And you're like, oh my god, how did games come up with this? This is unbelievable. Undertale is kind of constantly like that. Like, it keeps referencing things you've done in a very natural way. And it even remembers things if you reload your save. Like, all the writing, it's kind of like... Again, when you play a Telltale game, it says, oh, that person will remember you called their mother something, and then 5 hours later, they reference that. This is more like you do something, and the entire game acknowledges that. It's super detailed, and because it doesn't have voice acting, it can afford, because writing is cheap, it can afford to do that. It's basically one of the sweetest games I've ever played in my life.
It's great.
It's my game of the year, and it's probably going to be one of my favorite games for a long, long time.
Did it fill you with determination?
No, please. Let's avoid. The good thing about that game, like, it makes a few references, but it doesn't do meme jokes. But the bad thing about it is that all the jokes in that game became memes.
Yeah.
Like, very bad memes. Like, when I hear, like, oh... Are you filled with determination, Mira? Yeah, I'm gonna punch you. the fan base got really bad, but don't like. Now it's like in hype Nova phase, so like the game is on fire and exploding, and everybody's doing artwork and remixes and yelling about it, and telling you you're playing it wrong and stuff like that. Just like set the hype aside, ignore all those people, play it because the hype doesn't take away from it. It's still good.
Yeah.
It's like really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great game.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the actual games from this year. Tune in to the next videos where we talk about all the games we play this year, because we're not consumer whores, we play old stuff too.
Bye!